Buenos dias. Welcome to Spain, Poco A Poco. Hey, Tanya.
How's it going?
Bueno, ¿y tú?
Muy bien. Today we're going to talk about gazpachos and Spanish soups. And I mean, it's not just gazpachos, there are plenty of others, but we all know that one. So that probably gets the forefront here.
Yeah, that's pretty much the internationally renowned soup of Spain, or sopa, as they say.
Sopa de Spain. And
Sopa de España. So
yes, and
there.
even here, I will say it. Well, anyway, where we are in Valencia, it's probably one of the most popular. You find it in those like milk cartons in the supermarket. Is one of the three pre-made food things that you can find.
Yes, and they come
And
in liters. They come in little like Capri Sun size ones too, for
mhm.
if you need your gazpacho on the go.
And
So,
bottles, they come
yep.
in. They come in plastic. I mean, literally, you can buy gazpacho, various kinds. So it does mean you don't have to make it yourself. I don't eat it anyway because I don't eat tomatoes, but it looks appetizing even for me.
We always have some in our. I don't make it anymore because it's so readily available. And back in the States, I would make it every summer. This now I can just buy it and
Now you
it
don't have to. And
sits at the door.
the ones that are ready made are good. So you
Oh
haven't,
yeah,
yeah. So that okay, that's good to know. So it's not
and
like
cheap.
you're, yeah, and cheap. So
Because like a liter is like 150. I ain't making that for
that's
150. Do you know
true.
what I mean?
That's true. Well, let's start with, the ancient roots of the Spanish soups go back to Romans and Moorish influences, and those ingredients from that time would be sort of, we have got olive oil, garlic, and some spices. I mean, most of these recipes, I don't see a lot of spices going in, to be honest, but
hmm
the olive oil, garlic, for sure, right?
Olive
Um,
oil, garlic. Um, Spain was the crossroads, right? So and it
mhm.
was the crossroads of the Mediterranean. So we brought all these ingredients and using them and depending on the region, right? So the
Right.
northern scenes, the northern Spain has your heartier soups, and down here we get the gazpachos. I mean, now you can get all the soups everywhere because it's
Obviously,
Spain.
because it's Spain, because things travel now. So
Yeah.
let's start with, we'll go through it regionally. So let's start with gazpacho, which is gazpacho. Let's call it gazpacho, maybe, since that's what it's called, from Andalusia, as we were just talking about. It's a cold soup. And that is because it is in that hotter part of Spain. So that's it did start without tomatoes, actually.
Did you know that before we did this research?
I did not, because like I said, I'm not really into gazpacho, so I haven't been thinking about it a lot myself. But that is an interesting thing, actually, I think. So the earlier versions go back to the Roman times, and the Roman soldiers were carrying bread, garlic, olive oil, vinegar, and water, and they would pound all that together to create a cold soup. And that was, I mean, I could see that would make a really good sort of survival soup, right?
I don't know about good, but it would get you through. I mean, good as in necessity. I
Good in
don't know about in
necessity,
flavor.
exactly. I mean, you've got the bread, the garlic is good for you. You've got some fat in the olive oil and maybe a little bit of flavor from the vinegar, and who knows what else comes with that. So I mean, it's better than literally just drinking water. Or
True.
water and bread, I would say. And then obviously it came from the Andalusia region, like we said, and it wasn't until the 16th century that tomatoes and peppers arrived from the Americas, and they adapted this soup to add those vegetables and create the red gazpacho that we know today.
Yes, which is quite delicious, and it is quintessentially the essence of summer. It's hydrating. It's cooling.
Hmm.
Um, I know you don't like tomatoes, but for those who do, it is wonderful.
Yes.
And it's very easy to make. We're not a cooking show, so we're not going to go through it all. But really, you get these ingredients, you blend them together, you chill them, and you're good to go.
And you're
So
done.
it's
Exactly.
potatoes, peppers, cucumbers. You have to do the stale bread that gives it kind of the hardiness to it, and your olive oil and your vinegar, your salt, your pepper, all that. But it's so easy to make,
Hmm.
but it's easier to buy it for a jug for 152
For
nowadays.
sure. I mean, it does kind of seem like a drinkable salad. So maybe there's some people that can get behind that because it does also has the tomatoes, the peppers, the cucumbers in it. So that's kind of, I mean, maybe you could go throw some lettuce in there too and no one would notice. I don't know. I'm sure there's variations where people are adding all sorts of things and also spices, which,
Right.
and obviously if you're going to make it at home, I'm sure if you make it at home, you're adding some other little flavors to it. There are some regional variations. Cordoba has the salmorejo, excuse me, which is thicker, creamier. and they top it with eggs and ham, which I see a lot of the soups here being topped with eggs and ham. I've seen that when
Right.
I've been given soups here. That is, I mean, they're not, or they're giving it to you to add. It's not like coming with it usually.
Right. Ham in Spain? Get out of here.
I know.
Anyway.
I mean, if this just proves that if something doesn't have ham in it, it needs to be added on top. If it wasn't blended in to start with.
You know, what's also interesting, Tanya, is that there's a white gazpacho that I hadn't heard of or tried called an ajo blanco. And that comes from the Malaga region. And it's made with almonds and garlic and the bread, but no tomato, no other vegetables. And I've seen they sprinkle it with white grapes. So this are green grapes. So this is interesting to me.
I might like that one. So ajo blanco is like, white garlic. So, in the name, it's the
Right.
white soup. I mean, I might like that one. I don't know. I definitely haven't had it. And it sounds a little bit more like maybe the original one before the tomatoes came in, and
Right.
I don't know if that
They
came
added
from
some
that
garlic
way.
and stuff and almonds. Whatever they had laying around.
Worth a try.
Worth a try.
Okay, our next soup comes from Galicia, and this also doesn't have tomatoes. So I like this one, I think. Although, funnily enough, I think I've had this, even though...
Okay.
So obviously, even though these soups are from different regions, they're everywhere now. And we've had this for sure in a local, and we went up to a local town and we had this in a soup, in a party up there, like a street party. So this is hearty winter soup, which makes sense. It's from a cooler part of Spain, and it's with like beans, and it has meat, and it has greens in it. And this is, you can see how this is really a hot comfort food, like soup,
Now, you've had it. Is it stewy like where you can see the ingredients, or is it an emulsion soup like gazpacho?
The one we had, and I didn't know what it was, it looked like this. To me, it looks very much like the Moroccan soups. Like you can see all the bits, and then it has, and then they're also cooking down the meat, which can be chorizo or bacon or anything. Obviously, more likely to be some kind of pork product here. That is also cooked down in it to give flavor to the soup. So this is a very like meaty, beany soup, and yeah, you can see all the bits in it. It's not whizzed up after that. So it's I would also say a very nourishing soup.
A stick to your ribs kind of soup, it looks like.
Yes.
Right?
Very hearty winter soup. And even though it does, it doesn't get as cold here as it does in the northern parts of Spain, we still like a good hot soup in the winter, right?
Yeah. So the next soup is one of my favorites, and there's kind of two variations, and I've made this, and it is a crowd pleaser, which is the sopa castellana, which comes from the Castilla y León region, which is in the north. And this is a garlic soup, and it's made with bread and lots of paprika. And the variations is there's the sopa castellana has a poached egg, and what they call just ajo soup, it has a beaten egg. It's like an egg drop soup, but they're both prepared initially the kind of same way. And it's a tons of garlic. It's like a whole head of garlic is going in this thing, and a big tablespoon of smoked paprika.
So not enough garlic, basically. You could add more.
No, you can add more. Yes.
Never enough garlic, as far as I'm
concerned. And it's
concerned.
what you do with that like baguette that you forgot to buy, to eat, that you bought 4 days ago. Now you can like hammer a nail into the wall with it. That's what you use for this soup. And so I've made it, and I've had it, and I love it. And it's the thing that I'm going to just speak so lovely about this is it actually tastes like you're eating like a beef stew because of the paprika and the there's so much bread in it. It's very thick. So it is hearty, and it does stick to your ribs as well. And it's very amazing when you're like, how did this thing that tastes like this come from so little? Right?
Yeah, and I do.
It's a Holy Week soup.
Yeah, and I do think what all these have in common, if they have bread in them, it's designed to be the stale bread. You're not putting good bread in there. This is what you do with bread. And what we do with it usually is we grind it up and bread things, but over here it gets thrown in a soup. Much healthier.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to use fresh bread because then it would just be mush. Like you do need because it needs to absorb the things. It's weird how that works. I think it's like science or chemistry or something. But anyway.
I mean, this is why I don't like to bake, because I don't want to get into the chemistry of cooking. But just say that's a fact. That's what's going to happen. And then that one is with the eggs that are beaten into the broth. So does that kind of remind me of like what they do with the Chinese soups, where you
it's
throw
kind
an
of
egg in
but
like
there's
that?
Yeah, so the ajo soup with just the beaten eggs, you drizzle them in as you're stirring it at the end
At
to
the
cook.
end, right?
Yeah, so it is like, but there's a lot more egg than like a traditional egg drop soup. So
Mm,
it becomes a very thick, porridgey, stewy type consistency.
that's very
Where the
hearty.
Castellana one is more brothier, it's more watery,
Mm,
and the ajo soup is more creamy. Like it
more
has a more
creamy and
creamier
thicker.
consistency. Yeah.
Nice. And then, lastly, for our last soup, we have the fabada asturiana, which is also, I think, like a little bit like the other one that I was talking about, is like a bean stew soup, and that one
Hmm.
has sometimes a mix of meats in it. So that can have a chorizo, it can have the mochila, which I don't like. That's the blood sausage,
Oof.
everybody.
Yeah.
I'm from England. We have it there. I won't eat it there either. I'm not starting now. You could have a cured pork shoulder in there, and then you have the beans that are soaked overnight, and then everything simmering together to create a broth. And that happens. So that's long hours of kind of stewing and everything together until the beans become tender and everything is infused with the flavors of the meat. So this dish apparently is never stirred because you don't want to break the beans. So the
Hmm.
pot is shaken gently.
Ah, okay.
So that it doesn't go everywhere. So that I think is a really interesting one. And I think this is definitely feels like a very sort of very hearty soup. And it's made with fabes de la granja, which is large Asturian white beans. And they're cooked until creamy. I'm not a huge bean fan, so I don't know if this is going to be on my list. I think the ajo soup sounds more like up my alley, and I might have to bribe you to make that one since you've made it before because it sounds really good.
I'll
But
do that.
yeah,
I mean, I can do that for you.
thank you.
What I'd like to say to our listeners that if you do decide to move here or you're for an extended stay, what you'll notice in the grocery stores here versus like the States and in England is there's not a lot of soups on the shelves. You're making stuff at home. There's canned soup culture is not a thing. But this soup is in cans on the shelf. This one you
Mm.
can readily find at the
Oh, okay.
grocery stores as a canned soup. You're not going to find New England clam chowder, but you'll get this one.
Yeah, I haven't looked, I will say. So I think that gives us a little bit of an overview of all the soups. If any, like you said, if anyone comes here and you do try them, let us know because we haven't tried them all, and Gaetano hasn't made them all yet. But maybe that'll be a
True.
challenge you're up for. So that's soups.
All right, till the next Poco A Poco, Tanya.
See you later. Thank you for listening to Our Spain Poco A Poco. Since you love us so much, please do go on to our social media and follow us and like us and subscribe where you're listening because it really does help us to grow and stick around and do what we are very much enjoying doing.
And, give us a shout out on the social medias. Give us a comment on what you would like to hear us talk about. I mean, we like to hear ourselves speak, but we do want to make this, informative for our listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. You can comment on one of our posts or you can send us a message through our Spain Facebook page or Instagram. So we would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Till the next episode.
Bye.